Hey, happy Friday, everybody. Happy Friday. If you are on here, be sure to hit the like button. Also, shout out to you for being here. Y'all could be anywhere else right now, but you are here hanging out with me. So I really appreciate you. Shout out to you for being here, for showing support. Like I said, hit the like button, tag anybody on this discussion, share it with someone that you think may find it interesting. A lot to cover off today. We'll see if we can get it done within the hour or so that I have. And if necessary, I might have to do a part 2 like I did, I think last Friday or 2 Fridays ago, because this conversation just keeps on going and the rabbit hole is continuing to become deeper and deeper. So, y'all, just to get into today's topic, you know, over the last couple of weeks, Passport Bros has just been the ongoing topic of conversation. And I mentioned in a video that I posted a couple of days ago that I really was not aware of the amount of sex tourism that was going on specifically around modern women, Black women in particular. I wasn't really aware. And so when the whole topic, the way this whole topic, started was Passport Bros, right? They got featured. I think it was like Yahoo News, mainstream media. And then ever since then, it's just been this ongoing conversation. And a really big complaint that I've heard, especially from women, is that these men are taking advantage of women. These men are going around sexually exploiting these women, all this different stuff. And lo and behold, just scratch the surface just a little bit, and you find out that not only are these women doing the same thing, they're doing it so much worse. And so I ran across this video from Search for Uhuru. He has a great page where he just talks about his journey. I actually want to say he was born in the States, like Sacramento, and then now runs a successful business out in Afrika and lives bi-coastally. But, he weighed in on this topic, and him being a man who very much is in Africa and he travels a lot of different nations, he had a very interesting perspective that I thought really just exposed even more so the level of blatant hypocrisy that is going on when we are having this conversation. And to me, that is the biggest issue that I'm having with this whole thing. We're creating an issue out of not only something to me that's not really that big of a deal, but secondly, something that we are doing so much worse. I mean, to the point to where you've had movies talking about this the last couple of decades. Okay. You've had books being created and released that are actually being studied in universities. Oh, but when women are doing it, it's all this liberatory, liberating, finding herself kind of language, right? It's all about spirituality and racial transcendentalism, diddlism, whatever words that they want to use, collegiate words they want to use to make it sound all flowery and acceptable. So when women do it, it's not a big deal. It's not sex tourism. It's not exploitation. It's not them taking advantage of other people. It's not them using their American citizenship to take advantage. It's none of that. They are simply finding themselves. But when men who experience issues abroad, whether it's trying to find traditional women to work with, trying to find a wife that actually wants to be a wife, whatever it may be, when they go and they decide to also explore their options or just to get into another country, all of a sudden they are just degenerate leftover men. And the level of the hypocrisy to me is so blatant and it's so disgusting. And that's why we're continuing to talk about it. And this conversation will continue. And I think at the end of the day, there has to be a level of acceptance that whether or not we try to shame men and this becomes another online gender war, which to me is really unnecessary, but whether or not we shame them or support them, there are a certain group of men who are they're just going to go. Because this market is becoming more globalized to begin with, not just in the dating and mating market, but you're talking about the economy. There's already been a lot of jobs that have been shipped abroad, and that's likely going to continue over the next couple of decades as America loses its power or as America really fights, to try to maintain power. You're going to see more of this globalization. You're going to see people be essentially forced to be a little bit more international as a way to survive. So it's like, again, we can try to fight against the trend that is going to happen, or we can just adapt. But the biggest issue to me is the hypocrisy and the unwillingness, not only to admit that these women are doing the same thing, also the fact that we will turn a blind eye to when there are literally young boys, young minors who are victimized, right, in this instance, who are the clients of these older women who are going abroad to try to find themselves. That to me is what is the most disgusting. But I don't want to get too far down into a tangent. So again, guys, if you're here, hit that like button. Social support to the show if you like what we're doing. Cash App, Venmo, Shade, as always, support your favorite content creators. The way that you can ensure that your message gets out there is by supporting it, by getting the message out there. The algorithm is going to do its thing. You already know mainstream social media is not going to necessarily represent y'all. It's not going to represent the message that you want. So the best way you can make sure that your message is being put out there is for you to make sure it's put out there. So support your favorite content creators, those who are sharing the kind of message and the kind of content that you resonate with. That's incredibly important. And as always, I will be sure to read and acknowledge our super chats. So a lot to cover off today. I'm trying to think which way I want to tackle this, because just also backstory. I posted a tweet. If you haven't followed me, if you're not following me on Twitter already, I posted something on Twitter that is, again, verifiable fact. This isn't me making this stuff up. I didn't just like wake up one day and decide to create this whole idea of women going abroad. This has been documented to the point to where you have again books that are studying this. You have different professors, different people who are in the educational realm who are fully aware and are looking at this trend. So I stated an obvious verifiable fact. Actually, let me do this real quick. This will probably be the best way for you guys to get a sense of the level of deflection that I'm dealing with, that we are dealing with, and it's quite disturbing. Okay, let me do this because it's real quick. Okay. So I posted this yesterday, just to kind of give you guys some context as to why we are covering this off. Right? Black women been blowing their backs out for decades in Jamaica on girls' trips. So it's hypocritical to shame men who go abroad to find traditional wives. I didn't make this up. Again, I didn't just wake up one day and decide to create stories. I posted this on my community tab. You have a book that I'm gonna purchase and read, and I might do a whole another live or another video on it. Pursuit of Happiness, right? Literally a woman who was, from my understanding, she was given government grants, or she was given some kind of funding to study these women who are going to Jamaica as a way to try to navigate, it mentioned racism, sexism, whatever, but she was paid to do it. Okay. So I'm not making this stuff up, but here's what we got in the comment section. Folks mad. Says, okay, so the very men whose validation you seek are saying this isn't true in the comments, in quotes, not sure if you noticed. So again, let me move this up. So me stating a verifiable fact, it's not really me seeking validation as much as it is calling out the fact that the hypocrisy around this whole conversation is really starting to show. And I think the more we deny the obvious, then the worse we just start to look in the long run. And when we have these conversations, right, about listen to Black women, protect Black women, love support Black women are queens, goddesses. The issue is when these kinds of whether you want to call it culture wars, cultural conversations, whatever it is, when these kinds of topics come up and there's not really an ability to be honest, it makes us look bad. It makes our image look bad. And if we're saying listen to Black women, but then now every time we speak there are lies coming out from us or just deflection, then it's like, again, we're working against our own best interest. And so we got that. That's one comment. So you have some dudes who are just like, yeah, this is real talk. This is obviously happening. I just saw a video that praised a girl because she cooks and cleans. It was just like, Mac, because that's basic. Now, some people are saying, yeah, dudes are going around and engaging in sex tourism, which that is probably happening on some level. I don't necessarily agree with that. But again, if you got modern women over here complaining about sex tourism, aren't these the same modern women who fought for sexual liberation and freedom and are promoting, OnlyFans page and women having the right to choose how they want to protect their body or how they want to use their body? So how are these same women who have fought for sexual liberation going abroad and trying to pretend like there's some Puritans when these women in other countries are doing the same thing for their bodies? It's like, we don't even really have the right. Women in America really don't have the right to try to be the moral police when it comes to how other women choose to live their lives. Like, we don't have the right. We just don't. So here's vacation flings are not the same as going to another country to find a spouse because you desire your own. Okay. Which I will say, yeah, that's my point. Like I said, there's some of these men who are going abroad and engaging in sexual tourism. That is happening. I don't agree with that, but adults will be adults. Women are doing that too. There are also a lot of men who are going abroad to legitimately find wives. Many of those men actually follow me on my page, who have shared their stories, have commented their stories, are still married to their women today. So I don't disagree with that per se. Because then when white women have been doing it, it's actually the white women who've been doing that. No offense, Miss Shay, I can provide proof. No. It's not white women. White women and Black women there have been all kinds of women. Like recently there was a law passed, I think, or there's in Gambia, they basically sent a warning to women from the Europe who were going in, basically exploiting the men in Gambia. And they're like, look, y'all need to stop, because they were passing STDs and just creating all kinds of different issues for the locals. And so, yeah, white women are definitely doing it, but Black women are also doing it. Again, I have documented this is not just me making this stuff up. Obsidian, I think, does a great job too bringing this down. Here's another one: easy rules for thee, not for me. So just more replies. You thought you ate and they turned you. I don't really know what that means, but to me, again, this is not. It's not really a competition of who's right or wrong. It is what is fact. What is fact? What is actually going on? And are we willing to admit this? Because the more we kick and complain and try to pretend that the obvious hasn't been documented and even shared on YouTube and on TikTok and Instagram. Like, the more we try to pretend like this isn't a thing, then I think at a certain point it's like, okay. Like, I see Caribbean realignment. That's kind of crazy. So I mean, this got a lot of feedback. I may just do a whole different a false equivalency. Yeah, there is no, to me, this is no false equivalency. If women are complaining about men going abroad for sex tourism, and they've been doing it for decades and also been engaging with minors in the process, how is that a false equivalency? Help me understand. Is a false equivalency because you're not supposed to hold women to the same standards that men are? Like, this is what I don't understand. I don't understand, because y'all, this one tweet got like almost 350,000 views or whatever over me stating an obvious fact. How are we in our feelings about what is actually true? Now it says these dudes ain't going over there for wives, yada yada. I don't know. Now I don't know how he would know that explicitly. It says out of 10 guys, 2 of them are going over there for wife. Again, I'd like numbers, because his argument is like, oh no, they're just going over sex tourism. Two about out of every 10 guys. I don't know how you measure that. Like, if you can give me some sources, if you can provide me some information, I will read into it. But even if that is the case, my biggest issue here is that women, we don't really have the moral high ground right now to try to play Puritans and to try to police other men's sexual choices when we're engaging in the same thing, if not worse. That's really my bigger point. And so I just kind of wanted to give you guys a quick snapshot into what's been going on, at least on Twitter. I might do a whole separate conversation on that. Yeah, I'm going to have to do a whole separate conversation on that, because the level of deflection, like here's one, for example. I usually love what you have to say, but girl, you sure didn't hurt your back with this reach. I'm like, this is not a reach. And it's at a certain point, it's like, I might have to go start to reply, like, check out this book that's being studied in universities. Go talk to the scholar who actually has documented evidence enough that she actually wrote a book about it. Check that out, and then come back and tell me that Black women are not going back to Jamaica to try to find themselves and also engage in relationships with men. Check it out. Also, let's because what I want to do now, since people are just playing dumb here, since people are playing dumb or ignorant, which there legitimately might be some people who are ignorant, to be fair, because look, before I started doing my little research here and engaging in this conversation, I wasn't fully aware either of how deep the rabbit hole went when it came to female sex tourism. I just wasn't really aware. So for those who say, right, that I'm reaching. So we're just going to pretend like this book written by Bianca C. Williams, The Pursuit of Happiness, Black Woman, Diasporic Dreams, and the Politics of Emotional Transnationalism. It sounds all nice and flowery when women do it. And it sounds all nice and flowery when it's being studied in universities. We're going to read what this book, okay, this actually has to say. Y'all probably can't read it because of the thing. But like I said, let me just read this real quick so y'all know that I'm making this stuff up. Product description. This is what the book is about. Okay? The book that I'm referring to that is being studied in colleges as we speak. This is written years ago. So while the people are over here pretending like this is a reach, pretending like this isn't happening, meanwhile, you have college professors who are talking to the students about this right now as we speak. And it reads, "The Pursuit of Happiness." Bianca C. Williams traces the experience of African American women as they travel to Jamaica, where they address the perils and disappointments of American racism by looking for intimacy, y'all, happiness, and a connection of their racial identities, right? Through their encounters with Jamaican online communities and their participation in trips organized by Girlfriends Tours International, the women construct notions of racial, sexual, sexual, and emotional belonging by forming relationships with Jamaican men. With Jamaican men. Let me read that again. The women construct notions of racial, sexual, and emotional belonging by forming relationships with Jamaican men. So miss me, y'all. Let's miss me with the denial, with the deflection. I want to say that some of you guys are ignorant, and let's just assume that you are. But we're not making this stuff up. And to me, the need to defend something that is clearly hypocritical is quite disturbing. And it's like, I don't know if there is some hit piece going on here. I don't know if there is some agenda. I don't really know what's going on. But what I do know, what I can acknowledge is that the truth ain't coming out here. Like there is not an honest conversation going on both sides. We saw this with the interview that happened a week or two ago on Fox. I think it was the Fox News in Houston, right? Where literally Dennis Spurling, a big advocate of Passport Bros, has been on that network for multiple times. And they decided to have a conversation about the very thing that he's been promoting for years and not include him. But they did include two women who, to my understanding, know nothing about the movement, who literally spent the entire 6-7 minutes just basically downing it, just criticizing it, with no pushback, with no male point of view, with no alternative point of view, just one. So it's like, why are we continuing? Why do we feel the need to push a narrative that is false? I'm not making this stuff up, folks. All you have to do is do a little research. If you go in college, you may hear about it. Y'all probably even got aunties. Y'all probably even did it yourself. Go on TikTok. Like why the need to deflect? Is it because we just don't want to look like hypocrites? Is it because, like, as a whole, we just don't want to accept an L? Because to me, it doesn't need to be a competition. It doesn't need to be I'm right, they're wrong, vice versa. Like, can we just be honest? Can we just be honest? So shout out to you, Dane C. Says, P. Shay, you think these girl trips to Jamaica was inspired by the movie How Stella Got Their Groove Back and the book that inspired the movie? That's a really good question. That may have played a role in it, but I guess my question would be, and I don't have the numbers and the research on this yet, but my question would be whether or not this was happening before Stella got the group back, which I believe it was. I know certainly for European women, it's been going on. For white women, it's been going on for decades, way before that movie. Now, but I do imagine that particular movie, Stella Got the Groove Back, kind of like Color Purple, I'm sure it started to shape the mind and the conversations around this whole topic, especially around Black women. And so I wouldn't be surprised that after that movie was, widely accepted, I wouldn't be surprised if there was somewhat of a boost. But I don't know. I don't know if I can say that like it wasn't happening before and all of a sudden it started in the 90s. I'm just not sure. I'd have to do research on that. Yeah, okay. So I wanted to cover that off. I might, like I said, do a whole separate live or video on that, on what's going on in Twitter, because what I'm seeing regarding this conversation is largely dishonest. Okay, so now what I did want to now turn your attention to is a video that I came across from Search for Uhuru. As I mentioned before, he has a channel that he runs. He, I think, lives bi-coastally. He's from the States, but runs a popular business out in Africa, does different tours in different nations in the continent. So let me tell you, he's speaking not from just what he has read or what he's heard, but he's speaking from what he himself has actually observed in the different people that he's in relationship with. So he weighed in on the Passport Bros, and y'all, it had me dying. I'm not gonna lie, I thought it was hilarious. So I just want to play a little bit of what he had to say regarding this whole topic on Black women grabbing their passports and going to Africa. And to be clear, yes, white women, the Karens, they've been going to Africa. As I mentioned, it got so bad that Gambia literally had to issue a warning earlier this year, just being like, look, y'all, this is getting out of hand. So white women have been grabbing their passports. Let's not leave them out of this conversation, but we are focusing right now on what Black women are doing because they're the ones primarily who are pushing back against the Passport Bros, because, you know, it's the whole fear mongering about Black men going abroad and exploring their options. And it's just hella hypocritical. I'd also put it like, it's just, we look a fool and we look a mess. And when you present obvious facts and then it's like deflection, or like there's one tweet out there where it's just like, yeah, well, women who go to Jamaica to have sex is not the same as men who go abroad for prostitution. And I'm like, how? I'm like, y'all, help me understand. Women who go abroad to engage in sex with locals is not the same as men who go abroad to engage in prostitution. Y'all, does that make any sense? Like, am I crazy? Like, it's the logic. And to me, really, if the logic is women can't be criticized, then it all makes sense. It all makes sense. The fact that I pointed out an obvious fact that could actually put a critical lens on women or women's activity, perhaps that's the real reason people are mad. But I'm like, it can't be based upon the basis of the argument alone. Because what I'm saying, I didn't make up. I didn't make this up. Even if you don't want to say that the books that are being studied in universities, the information that has been documented, even if you want to pretend that that's not true, for those of you guys who only like to look to current event or look to movies and modern media to prove your case, you can't act like Waiting to Exhale, Stella Got Your Groove Back, even MILF Manor more recently. You can't act like there aren't plenty of shows and documents, 90 Day Fiance, of older women getting with younger men, having some form of an exchange. Like, we can't act like that doesn't exist. It obviously does. So it's like, God, it's just so weird. But okay, so let me bring this up. Again, guys, if you're here, hit that like button. Hit the like button. Social support to the show, Cash App, Venmo, as always. Support your favorite content creators. And as always, the best way for me to read your comments is to super chat it, because I'm not always able to keep up. So if you have something you would like me to read, be sure to send it through. Also, I think I saw a Cash App come through earlier today. I want to acknowledge real quick, if I can bring it up. Yeah, shout out to you. It was Michael Ack, I think. I hope I didn't butcher it, but shout out to you, Michael, with the 5 on the Cash App. I do appreciate you. I really appreciate it. And thank you for the support. Okay, so let me pull this up and then we will get going. Okay. Okay, let me slow this down a little bit. Okay.
Please go to searchforuhuru.com. Again, please go to searchforuhuru.com and buy the documentary. Hold on real quick. Babit Shabazz. Peace. I found my wife from overseas and never heard the term till now. And we're gonna get into that. And I want to give a disclaimer before I get through the rest of the announcements. Again, I want to give a disclaimer before I get through the rest of the announcements. Number one, this is not a gender war, okay? This show, all right, this specific topic that I'm doing today is not a gender war. All right, I just want to give the the difference between Angela Bassett that she is not turning back, stating that Black men are no good. We're gonna get into that. Again, my thing is, listen, this is where I'm at now. Go where you're treated best. Whatever makes you happy, go and do that. Whatever makes you happy, go and do that. Life is too short. And if you're not satisfied or happy with a certain demographic of people, go where you think you're going to be treated best. That's it. That's all. That's all I'm saying. That's it. That's all. You have sisters doing the same thing. They're getting their passport bruh on as well. And, you know, I'm not here to vagina or penis police.
Notice real quick. He says you got sisters doing it as well. Just notice. Also, I want you to notice that when the live started out, you had a commenter who was just like, "Oh, I found my wife abroad. I was doing this before I even knew Passport Bros was a thing." As I mentioned before, I have followers. The same thing. They found their wife abroad, found their wife in maybe Africa, Ethiopia, Asia, some of the military guys. So it's like you had people who have been doing this for a while, and it wasn't really a thing. Same with women. Just notice that. Okay.
But just go where you fit best, go where you're treated best, go where you're happy. That's all I can say. And it's none of my business what you do. It's none of my business how you spend your money and what you spend your money on. It's none of my business. But I think there needs to be a balance. There we go. There needs to be a balanced conversation when it comes to the passport bros. Again, there needs to be a balanced conversation when it comes to the passport bros. That's all I'm saying. So I don't want to turn this into a gender war. Okay, this is going to be a very balanced conversation. I'll open up the lines in about 30 minutes, and you'll be welcome to call in and give your take and your opinion. All opinions are welcome, and let's be respectful. Somebody brought up rating. Yeah, you know what, Amani, Sardo Nupsa has a great point. Waiting to excel. But listen, we'll get into that here shortly. First off, if you have not bought the documentary In Search of Uhuru, please go to searchforuhuru.com. Again, please visit searchforuhuru.com and buy the documentary. Link is in the chat room, and link is on the screen. Also, tours. We are rolling to Sierra Leone in April. We're rolling to.
Okay.
I'm reading the comments already.
Let me see.
But let's get to these announcements. Please go to Afrika.
Okay, sorry. I'm sure get to the part.
They're doing the same thing here in America. So it really, it's just the way the passport bros are being hated on when you have other groups of people, other demographics of people doing the same thing. I don't get it. Again, I don't get it. So we're going to jump into today's topic. And I brought up how Stella got her groove back reference. And if you guys have how Stella's got a groove back, check it out. It's actually a decent movie. And the lead role is played by Angela Bassett. So Angela Bassett takes a vacation to, I believe, Jamaica. While she's there, now, let me give you the background. Angela Bassett was a 40-year-old woman, all right, who was working in corporate America and needed to, I guess, take a breather or get a breath of fresh air or, take some time off and gather herself. So she goes to Jamaica and she meets a man played by Taye Diggs, who is half her age. So she's 40, she's 20. So I want to stop right there first. And I know a lot of you guys are like, Dinas, well, how Stella's Got a Groove Back is a movie, is a fictional story. What I'm bringing up, the reason why I'm referencing how Stella's Got a Groove Back, because this is also going on right now in Ghana, West Africa. It's going on right now in Ghana, West Africa. You have a lot of women who are getting with these local Ghanaian men. Oh, it's not. Yeah, that's right. It's based on a true story. I'm sorry. It's based on a true story. So again, what's going on is still going on. It was based on a true story. I'm sorry. So a lot of the criticism that I hear when you talk about passport bros is, number one, these older men are dating these younger women.
So real quick. So notice in there he mentioned, which I didn't know. I wasn't aware Stella Got Her Groove Back was based upon a real story. Were you guys aware of that? Or maybe it was, I don't know, maybe it was connected to this Pursuit of Happiness, the book I mentioned. But the argument that it was based upon a true story, whether or not that is true or false, certainly the narrative or the idea is not outside of the realm of reason. But notice how he mentioned, he's like, oh, this is happening in Ghana now. And I wasn't aware. I personally was not aware of that. I came across an article recently that came out, I think in Gambia, where it was basically talking about how the country again had to actually issue a warning to primarily women from Europe who were going over to engage in sex tourism. But I started to recognize there's been more locals. I've had different people comment on my page and tell me, like, this is happening in Ghana as we speak. And you guys know there has been a really big push of Black people repatriating, going to different countries in Africa, and Ghana is a very popular destination. So he's saying in this, I guess, repatriation effort, as women are either solo traveling or looking to connect to their ancestral roots, you're starting to have women go abroad and start to engage in the same kinds of behavior that is being shamed by men. Let's continue.
Well, sisters are doing the same thing. They are dating men half their age, which, listen, an adult is an adult. All right, whatever agreement that you have, you know, whether it be transactional or if you guys are marrying for love, which could also be are getting married. You know, whatever agreement you have between consenting adults, that's your business. Again, that's your business. And I don't have a problem with it. But for some reason, the pastoras are being criticized for marrying and dating younger women. But when the women do it, they get celebrated.
That part. Tell me even if we just want to use celebrities as an example, can y'all please tell me a situation where a celebrity ended up being with a young boy toy? Jennifer Lopez, Cher, Madonna, I think Eartha Kitt too. Like, or just tell me. I have to confirm Eartha Kitt, but just tell me in general. Anytime you have seen a celebrity end up with a cute boy toy or a younger boyfriend or something in that matter, and they have been criticized by the female population at all, please tell me. Or is it that those stories are turning into series and they're turning into other stories in movies that are being promoted, such as MILF Manor, right? That just launched earlier this year, beginning of January, which is literally women, I think the oldest, I mean, the youngest are in their 40s, but it's women all the way, I think, between the ages of like 40 to 60, who are looking to find themselves, who are looking to find whatever their sexuality, whatever, in like their golden years. Like with younger men. Notice these women aren't finding themselves going on spiritual retreats, right? Or going and serving in charitable actions. Notice that finding themselves somehow always is connected to having sex with a man half their age. But this kind of stuff, when women do it, y'all got to create series out of it. You got to create entire industries and movies and articles and write books and put it on television. I mean, there's literally, I can't even think of the name, but it's that there's even a Netflix documentary about it right now, literally about an older woman who was widowed. I think she's probably in her 60s and 70s. And then the whole movie is based upon her engagement with a young sex worker. Now, of course, you know, the way they paint the story is as if she's, you know, emotionally kind of connect with herself and trying to find happiness in her olden years. Like, they try to paint it as something beautiful and as something that's like related to a woman's growth and maturity. But at the end of the day, it is an older woman who was paying to have sex with a man who could literally be her grandson. This is on Netflix as we speak. I have to go back and get the exact movie. But if y'all know in the comment section, let me know. So this is the kind of stuff, and this is the kind of BS to me that it's so hypocritical. And this is why all these complaints, y'all, like all these complaints as it relates to the passport bros are falling on deaf ears. Because we're hypocrites and because we're doing the same thing. And then when you're caught on it, we want to deflect. We want to gaslight and act like it's not true when we all know what it is. It's so true that you got movies about it. You got series that are based upon it because there's a market for it. There's women who are interested in it. Okay. You got entire, like I mentioned, series, just TikTok videos, YouTube videos. The evidence is out there if you want to find it. It is out there. It's out there if you want to find it. The issue is some of us don't want to be honest. Like some of us literally just don't want to be honest. And that is why to me this conversation is disingenuous. And this is why if the effort or if the goal is to try to minimize or try to get men to do less of this, the more women are shown to be hypocrites in this conversation, then the more it is going to push men to do what they're doing already. And that is go abroad and find women who at the very least are willing to engage in an honest conversation. Because best believe right now this conversation is not honest. Okay? Okay, so real quick, I did want to acknowledge, then we'll get back into it. Saw some super chats from Ramon. It says, of course, women were doing sex tourism before Stella. Eddie Murphy talks about it in his Raw stand-up from the 80s. Okay, I'm not familiar with that stand-up, although I've heard about it. That was a little bit before my time, but I've heard about Eddie Murphy, and a few people mentioned that. Okay. Okay, then it says, just found your channel. Keep up the great work. Thank you. Thank you, Yay Man in Thailand. Thank all of you guys for the support. Again, if you're here, hit the like button. Likes are free. Also, show support to the show. Cash App, Venmo, Shay, Sade. Super chats as always. I'll be sure to acknowledge and read all super chats. So let's continue with this. Let's continue with this conversation. Okay.
Again, when the women do it, they get celebrated.
Right. That part.
And get a movie called How Stella's Got a Groove.
Right.
So that's number one, the age difference. Because again, I hear this criticism when people criticize the Passport Brothers, they always bring up the age difference. Do you need me to come on? I have beef. Mind you, you're more than welcome to come on. Give me 15 minutes. Give me 15 to 20 minutes.
Real quick. On this whole age difference, because that's another thing too. I mean, you have scenarios of two consenting adults. Wasn't it Lionel Richie, right? I think he married a woman in his 30s when he was 70, something like that. And there's a lot of pushback, right? Like you're taking advantage. This is disgusting. You're taking advantage of the person's youth, gold digger, whatever. There's always an issue with age when men do it. There's always an issue with age. But when women do it, it's never even a topic of conversation. I'm curious, for those of you guys who are around, who either watched the movie How Stella Got Her Groove Back or were around when that was, a trending movie, did you guys see at the time, did you see different women shaming Angela Bassett or just shaming the movie in general for the difference in age? Was that out there? Like, I'm curious. I was too young. I wasn't allowed to watch it at the time. My parents wouldn't let me. But I'm just curious if any of you guys in the comments saw that movie or were around the time that it was like really popular. If you saw a conversation where women were just like, this is disgusting, like he's too young for her, or was it being celebrated? I tend to think it was being celebrated just based upon the way that I see things being done now. But you guys, let me know if I'm wrong here. Okay. So shout out to Randall with the 5. I appreciate you. Okay. But like I said, he's on something. He's like, a big complaint is the age. It goes from, the sex tourism, which, that's a lie because women are engaging in it. And then when that doesn't work, it's like the age, which women, especially older single women, very much are attracted to younger men. I literally posted something. Y'all don't believe me? Go on my community tab. I asked a question last night, or I was like, hey, how many of you guys were approached by older women when you were a minor or just like, young teens, young adult? And oh gosh, the comments, they're still flooding in as we speak of men retelling their stories with cougars. So this is a thing. And yeah, we're pretending like it's not. Like, what's going on, y'all? Okay, so it says, nope, it boosted sales of the book. Okay. The author of the book, Terry McMillan, no Black woman loved it. Okay, so you guys, okay. It was accepted as weight. It was accepted. Okay. I feel like I need to just go back and watch now that I'm an adult because my parents wouldn't allow me to watch Wait Until Excel or How Stella Got Their Group Back. My parents, which I appreciate it. I do think it's good, especially when you're young, that you don't be exposed to certain things. But it's like I missed out on some of these talking points. I feel like I got to go back and watch it now just so I can be in the know. Okay. So let me read this up.
So that's number one. I wanted to bring that up, the age difference. Number two, when I hear people criticizing the Passport Bros, the argument is these Passport Bros are going to these third world countries, in quotation marks, and they're exploiting these women who have no money and are poor. That's another criticism that I hear of the passport bros. But again, there are a lot of sisters. We're going to Jamaica. So this guy in how Stella's got a groove back couldn't rub two nipples together.
Y'all.
And the argument I would hear here in America is a man got to pay for everything. A man has to pay for everything. I also hear, you know what, I can't find any men on my level because us women out earn the men. I hear that as well. Meanwhile, a lot of our sisters are going to the Caribbean, they're going to West Africa, and they are fronting the bill on everything.
Y'all heard that? Y'all heard that? He said they're going out to Africa and they are fronting the bill on everything. Y'all heard that? Let me rewind that just real quick so y'all can just in case you missed it. Like I said, and this is not a man he's not just making this stuff up. He didn't just see some random article online. He's living in Africa. He does tours in multiple countries in Africa, is in relationship with people in Africa, lives there for a couple of months out of the year, from my understanding. So it's like he would know, doing all that movement, having all those opportunities, he would know. So let me hear what he said one more time in case y'all missed it. And real quick, if you hit the like button, do that, please. Let me play it again.
Us women out earn the men. I hear that as well. Meanwhile, a lot of our sisters are going to the Caribbean, they're going to West Africa, and they are fronting the bill on everything. Again, they are. And not only are they fronting the bill for their man, they are fronting the bill and paying and also taking care of the family.
Y'all, fronting the bill and taking care of the family. Like, what are we even doing? This is what I'm saying. It's like the hypocrisy right now is just like, it's stellar. Like the amount of gaslighting, like the role playing we're doing right now, like we deserve an Academy Award. Women need like an Academy Award for this performance because it's so epic. It is so epic. It's like this, like there needs to be an award. Somebody needs to document this in history. Like how, not even how well, but just the amount of gaslighting and the need to try to play a victim in a particular role, in a particular lifestyle that you yourself are doing. It's crazy. This is why I saw this and I was like, I like almost laughed the whole time. I was like, I don't even know if I should be laughing or crying because the level of hypocrisy is so great and so astronomical. Like it's hard for me to actually be able to process this in my mind. Like I didn't know hypocrisy on this kind of level existed. I was not aware, but I am learning every single day. Okay, let's try to get through this, y'all.
Jonathan, that's true, and I'm gonna pull that up. But that's the argument I hear. And again, I don't want to turn this into a gender war. I just want to keep this balanced because I'm also gonna bring up some of the things that I disagree with the passport bros. But yes, in Ghana, you have a number of women who are dating and marrying younger men who they out earn greatly. And not only are they taking care of the men, they are fronting the bill for the whole entire family. No problem. But here in America, they want you to pay for everything. In America, they want to tell you how they're more educated and out earn the men.
You guys see this? Like the hypocrisy, it's almost like I said, I don't know if I should be laughing or if I should be crying, but literally, he's like the same woman who are going out here talking about how they need to be paid for and flued out is the same woman going abroad, paying for these dudes and their family and fitting the entire bill, trying to find themselves. And listen, I'll have no shade against women who want to repatriate, like no shade there. And I do know that there are some women who are legitimately doing that just because they want to get in a different culture. So I'm not talking to you. I'm referring to the hypocrites out there. I'm referring to the woman who celebrated how Stella got the groove back and then are mad at the passport bros for going and doing the same thing or actually going abroad and just finding wives. That is who I'm talking to. I'm talking to the ones on Twitter who want to play dumb and act like they didn't get their black bone out when they literally talked to a friend a couple of weeks ago who just came back from Jamaica and has photos to share about it. That's who I'm talking to. Okay. Let's continue.
But then they will, but then they will go overseas. And see, here we go. Those men show a great deal of respect for us. See, there we go. This is how it's justified. I'm talking about they will front the bill, take care of the man. And listen, I'm not hating. If this is your
wait, y'all see that? Wait, I'm trying to see if can I move my thing? Let me see if I can move my thing. Okay, y'all. I don't know if y'all can see that comment. Literally, Amani, it says those men show a great deal of respect for us. Those men show. So no shade if that's what you want to do, but she's justifying it. She's not denying it. She's not saying that it's false. She's just saying, well, yeah, we do it, but they show a great deal of respect for us. Literally in this comment section right here. She's not denying it. That's because it's happening. It's happening. So it's like, can we just have a moment of acceptance, please? Just a moment of acceptance, y'all. Can we just accept things for what they are? You cannot move forward if you are not willing to first acknowledge the truth. And for some reason, there is a inability to acknowledge what everybody sees is going on. And the more we kick and fight and scream, the more receipts are going to come out that make us ultimately, Black women as a collective, look like a fool. And when our image is already damaged and you already have women complaining about how they're not being respected, this isn't helping. This kind of hypocrisy isn't helping. This unwillingness to understand and to learn and to want to acknowledge the obvious truth, it is not helping. It is only making things worse. That's what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm trying to get y'all to understand. Let us continue.
Arrangement, more power to you.
Oh, goodness. This is crazy.
Listen, no, say but no. It's not just for white women anymore. It's not just, see, this whole rental roster, it was associated with white European women and white women in America or white women in the West. Nah, the sisters are getting on the rental roster as well.
Right, that part.
They're doing a rental roster as well.
Mm-hmm.
And are fronting the bill for everything, which is cool. Listen, African men, get your money.
Well,
get your money. But we did a show on this a while back. They expect us to pay for everything in America, but they're going 50-50 in Africa.
He said, so in America, it's 100%. In Africa, it's 50-50. Maybe more of y'all should move to Africa based upon that paradigm. You might actually get treated. Oh, this is so hilarious. I'm trying not to laugh. It's just the hypocrisy is so stellar. Oh, the hypocrisy is so like, it's like, I mean, were we trained? Like, did you go to, was there a school? Is there a school of hypocrites that's out there that I'm aware of where women just go and learn how to just be perfect at telling and living lies and then pretending like they're not? Like, I mean, this it's hard to make this stuff up, y'all. Real quick, I do want to acknowledge, I see Black Wizard ADOS with the 5. It says, where are all the password bros gloating about hookups with young women if they are around? I haven't seen them. Yeah, no, I hear you. I mean, I think really what brought this to light, from my understanding, was just the whole when Austin, I think he came under a lot of fire from feminists when he was in Brazil. When I know who have been doing this for a long time, very much move in silence, or they find their wives, build a family, and are living things. And so Austin, he's a young man. I think he was being really open with what was going on. And I think, okay, that's basically what started this whole conversation. But he's one person. I don't think the password bros like had some conspiracy behind closed doors to make him the influencer. He just was one person that was very, very open about things. You have older men who've been doing it who are just like, yeah, he probably should have been more quiet, move in silence. And that's how this whole conversation got started. But to your point, that's one person. I don't know a ton of people who are going out and doing it. Now, you guys, if I'm wrong, let me know. Detroit with the 5, it says right now they celebrate new people in a Netflix movie. Just came out recently. One of Black women's quoted Lawrence with Fields mentioned about colors. I don't think I've seen that. I think I've heard of it, but I haven't seen it. Super chat, guys, if you're here, hit that like button. The hypocrisy is so Stella. The hypocrisy is so Stella. What's going on, Dennis? Shout out to you with the 100 on the or actually 99.99, sorry. With the 99.99 on the super chat. I appreciate it. Thank you.
That go the money. That go the money. That go the money. That mother money. Money come. That money come. That go the money. That go the money. That go the money. That go the money.
Okay. So I had to do it right. Okay, guys. So y'all heard it. They're getting flued out 100% out here. Okay, men are supposed to play 100% out here, but in Africa it's 50-50. And then in some cases, they're paying 100%. They're fitting the bills for their Ghanaian men or their African men and their families. This is actually what's going on. And perhaps this is why there is such a unwillingness to actually engage in an honest conversation, because if they actually told the truth, then they would be shown to be the big hypocrites that they actually are. And maybe their pride doesn't want to take an L, but it's like the more we try to gaslight, the more, women try to gaslight this conversation to pretend like it's not happening, the more and more they're going to be told for what they are. The more the truth is going to come out. And it's just it's already looking bad. I'm like, can we just stop? Can we just let them go? Let the men go. Focus on ourselves. Focus on just trying to be honest, good women. And then this won't need to be an issue. But if we continue to push the hornet's nest, then we're going to be stung in the meantime. And that's what I'm saying. It's like we're fighting a losing battle. Everybody knows that you're lying. It's been documented for decades. So why are you doing this to yourself? Ultimately, you're going to hurt yourself in the long run, and you're making yourself look worse. This is why people don't want to listen to you, because you can't tell the truth. And then when somebody does tell the truth, you get mad and upset, and then you try to shame them, you try to gaslight them when you have documented evidence. Not from me, being studied in universities and colleges. You want to go and tell that professor? You want to go and tell Bianca C. Williams that she's lying? You really want to do that? You really want to say that she made that stuff up? That the grant money that she got to study was fake? You want to do that? You think you're going to win that battle? That's what I'm saying. It's like, oh my gosh. Oh my goodness, people. Okay, let's continue.
Now, see, a lot of this in Ghana. In fact, they come on YouTube and tell their story about how they're doing this in Ghana. This is not me just saying this. There's plenty of videos of women who talk about and speak on the relationships with, because I don't hear about this too much in Nigeria, but there are plenty of women who have came on and given their testimony about the relationships with Ghanaian men and how they were fronting the bill. I think it's
so hilarious. And remember, he said that, and then the first thing a woman in the comments said was, well, they treat us nice. And this is no shade to her, but she was admitting it. She was like, yeah, but they treat us nice. So women are fronting the bill in Africa because they're being treated nice. But let it be clear, they're fronting the bill in Africa. And again, I'm not saying this is every woman who's, repatriating. I know there are some who are doing it with their families or doing it for business or whatever. But it is not uncommon to see women doing this and also finding themselves between the legs of other men. Like, that's also happening. And they're paying it. They're paying for it in the meantime, because the American dollar stretches a lot more in some of these countries. And unless they're going with like really, really high value men, which many of them are not, they're from the bill. Like,
but the passport bros are the ones that are accused of taking advantage of younger women who are in poverty, when the sisters are doing the same thing. Which, listen, no problem. Again, no problem. Get your money. I just want to keep the conversation balanced, because I'm going to passport bros here in a second. Which leads me to this. I looked this up, because again, they keep touching on how these women overseas are dead broke. I want to pull this up real quick. All right, we're not going to start a race war. I mean, not a gender war here. Okay, this is not a gender war. I'm not turning this into a gender war. But a lot of the people who are critical of the passport bros just assume that these women overseas don't have any money. All right, so this is from the ncrc.org. Racial wealth snapshot: women, men, and racial wealth divide. Men and women, marital status, and wealth. According to 2019 data highlighted by Dr. Mariko Chang, the median wealth for a single woman was $36,000, while the median wealth for a single man, for single men, was $43,800. Single women held 82 cents of wealth for every dollar of wealth owned by a single man. African Americans, who in many categories have the greatest gender economic equality, have the greatest gender wealth disparity, though still having little wealth compared to whites. Single black men's median wealth was $10,100 compared to single black women's median wealth $1,700. Single white women have slightly higher median wealth levels than single white men. Single white women's wealth is estimated at $81,200 compared to single white men at $78,200. Hispanics have the lowest wealth when examining single men and women. Single Hispanic men's median wealth is $4,200 compared with single Hispanic women's median wealth at $1,000. So
y'all, real quick, I don't know if you heard those numbers, but what he basically is alluding to, your average, what I think is like medium income or whatever, your average woman out here making about 36K. Now that, you know, it's more or less depending upon the quarter. Those numbers kind of change a little bit, but it's not over 40,000. It's not over 40,000 for women in America. And with inflation going up, gas has gone up, food has gone up, rent has gone up, less people are able to get into homes. You're seeing more women embrace the van life because they can't afford to be in an actual home or apartment. You are seeing rates of eviction go up for Black women. You're seeing rates of unemployment. So while these women are complaining that men are going abroad to exploit poor women, these women are poor. These women are poor. Like, if you are making $40,000 or less, and you are, especially if you're living in a city or a big city, and you have a child, you got child support, all these different things, you're not rolling the dough like that. Like, you are not boss babing, flexing. You're not doing that. You're not leveling up. You're not hypergamy. You are none of that. And again, this is no shade to anybody who's working class or who is building their wealth, because it's been a rough time for a lot of people in the pandemic. So it's no shade to you, but the issue is how you gonna go and try to shame the very same women who are probably living the same kind of lifestyle that you are, living in your van, talking about you are and trying to embrace a new experience and find yourself and live your soft life being unemployed. Do y'all see how hypocritical this is? So this is what he's alluding to. This is what he's alluding to.
So again, they're exploiting women overseas in poverty. When if you look at the median wealth for Black men and women here in America, it's below the poverty level. So my question is, and I'd like for women to call in, what's the real issue? And if it's like, listen, brothers, instead of tricking off overseas, trick off here in America, the Black community, circulate that money here in America amongst the Black community. If that's the argument, okay. But saying that one group is impoverished overseas in a third world country, when the demographic here in America is in poverty as well, per the numbers, that's just hypocritical. Nigeria too, stop the bias. If the argument is, listen, brothers, stop spending your money overseas, spend it here in the Black community in America, okay, I get it. But saying that passport brothers are exploiting younger women who are in poverty, when I see sisters doing the same thing, and then when you're saying that passport brothers are exploiting younger women who are in poverty because these women overseas just ain't got no money, they impoverished. When if you look at the data, we're in poverty here in America, we're at the poverty level here in America, that argument just doesn't make any sense. That just crushes your whole argument.
I mean, y'all get it? So really all these arguments, right? All these different arguments, all these different shaming tactics are either hypocritical because they're doing it, or they're just downright lies. But either way, they fall flat, right? The issue about women being exploited sexually, when these are the same women who fought for sexual liberation and are on OnlyFans trying to pay some bills. The issue of, okay, well, these men are going abroad to try to exploit poor women when majority of women out here are poor. Okay, the issue of, oh, these men are going abroad to be with women half their age when these same women celebrate women who can get with men half their age. So every single argument that is being made to try to shame or to try to either minimize this movement or to try to shame men from going abroad and doing what's actually quite natural in this market that's becoming more globalized, every single shaming tactic, every single pushback, they themselves are doing. So that's why it's like, how do we think that this can be taken seriously? And I am astonished and disturbed at the level of just, I don't even know how you put it. It's like gaslighting, just the inability to want to be honest about something that is documented. I started off this conversation by just showing you a tweet that I made. This is, I think, yesterday. It was like, this is what's going on. This has been documented. I'm not making this stuff up. We have movies about it. It's being studied in universities. This is what it is. And the amount of women in the comment section who are just mad and think I'm making this stuff up when they've seen it or when evidence is presented to them is like, this is very strange. Like, am I in the Twilight Zone? Like, it's very strange. It's very strange to want to die on this hill. Like, it's just bizarre to me. Okay.
Retired passport bros are going overseas and they're tricking off and engaging in, they're tricking off. So they're buying cat overseas. When here in America, and I ain't gonna lie, I be on Instagram sometime and I get distracted by big booties, by big booty Judy. I ain't gonna lie. But what I'm noticing here in America, damn near every Instagram page that I go on with a big booty Judy, they got a link to an OnlyFans page. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, y'all. I be on Instagram sometimes, I be scrolling, I be seeing the big booty, I be like, man, who? But then I click on a link, I click on her profile page, and she got an OnlyFans page. They all got OnlyFans pages. And listen, that's none of my business. Get your money. If that's how you make a living, do you. I'm in no position to criticize or judge. So the number of our sisters who are selling segs. In fact, hold on, let me play something for you guys. Hold on 1 second. Let me play this real quick. Let me show you guys this real quick. Give me 1 second. And I'm not saying that everyone who has an OnlyFans page is selling segs. I'm not saying that, okay? I don't want to put everybody in a box. But I would say this, for the right price, there might be a high probability that segs can be bought. That's all I'm saying. Oh, let me pull this up real quick. All right, do me a favor, hit the like button again. Please hit the like button. Here we go. Let me pull this up real quick.
An Instagram model with more.
Wow.
Okay,
Wow.
Going to a thing.
Wow.
So he's going, oh man. You can't text me too. So he's going on pulling up some more receipts, guys, and it's like I said, the hole is getting deeper and deeper. So you guys, I would really love to continue this live, but I have to hop off because again, I have another meeting that I have to do, unfortunately. But I might come back because I want to finish reviewing this video and then open up the call lines, which is what I intended to do. I was trying to get through this within an hour and it just didn't happen because just the receipts and the hypocrisy was just too outlandish. So if time permits, I will try to come back, I think, for part 2 a little later on after I finish my meeting and finish this review and then also open up the call line so we can have discussion about this because I'm sure some of you guys have I'm sure some of you guys have some stories, and I'm just trying to understand. My hair's over. I'm just trying to understand like why we're playing cognitive dissonance with this. It's crazy. So stay tuned, you guys. I think part 2 coming soon. We'll talk later. Okay, guys. Bye.